Hi guys, this is Ritmer, aka The Cat, and the Necroa virus was just released for Plague Inc. Evolved, so I think this is a good time to just make a brutal or mega brutal walkthrough for all diseases. And the difference between mega brutal and regular brutal is that in mega brutal there are random checkups, so no matter what you do, your disease is going to be detected unless it's like Parasite, because Parasite has a special ability. And funny thing is that the most difficult disease to win with on Mega Brutal is actually bacteria. And this is of course assuming you have these modified genes. If you're playing without genes, which I don't know why you would unless you're a masochist, then of course fungus and nanovirus become the hardest. But when you play with genes, the bacteria is definitely the hardest one to outrace the cure with. So I'm using Metabolic Jump just so I get a boost whenever I infect a new country, because I'm intending to infect countries pretty quickly, so I'm not going to be having a lot of use from popping orange bubbles, except in the start. And Genetic Mimic, because yeah, trust me on this one. And Aquasite, anything you can do to make it easier for you to infect the island nations, and I'm specifically thinking about Greenland here, is good. And here I just like to get the one that will help me the most in my starting country. So I just get Xerophile because I'm starting in an arid country. Hydrophile is good, of course, for the northern nations, but it doesn't really help you infect Greenland or Iceland, so eh. And this is the most important one, Symptostasis. All of these are really useful. Different ones are good for different diseases. The most useful one for this is, however, Symptostasis, because you want to be able to get the total organ failure when you need it. And if you don't have this, it's going to be insanely expensive. So yeah, Symptostasis. Now, you might be wondering, what do you do if you can't use stealth? Well, you just need to get as much DNA as possible, and you get DNA by having high severity. But we're going to invest some in those transmissions, and the specific transmission I'm thinking of is, of course, the bioaerosol, which we get here. First I'm going to fix air. Air, then water, then bioaerosol, of course. By then we're probably going to be detected already, so yeah. So why is bacteria the hardest? Well, the reason for this is that the special ability bacteria has is useless. It's completely useless. Unless you just really need extra cold resistance and the two first ones aren't enough, in which case sure. But it gives less resistances than cold resistance 1 and 2. So yeah, waste of DNA. Don't waste it. And now we just wait. Let's see, the next one is 15. That's we could probably get rash already. Rash sweating is really good. It helps you infect cold countries, which you need. Because look, they are Iceland and Greenland. They're just cold. They don't have anything else you can infect with. So whatever, I'll just get that and now wait for this one. And you might be asking, if Greenland is so hard to infect, well, why not just start in Greenland? Well, there's two reasons for that, and the first reason is the disease spreads really slowly in Greenland, because the only thing you can take advantage of is cold. And the second reason, which is a lot more important, is that there are a bunch of other island nations which are hot, and if you start in Greenland, you're going to have trouble infecting those. Now I'll get these two. I totally forgot to turn off this thing. Hold on. Options. I don't usually play on this computer. Not this game, I should say. We need 18. New minor disease spreading. So yeah, now we're detected. So they're not going to start closing the borders yet, so we don't really have to worry right now. But once the cure gets going, it's going to get going pretty quickly. And you might think it's a good idea to evolve the... actually, this one you need, but I'm thinking of the genetic hardening over here. And sure, if you have nothing better to spend it on, but it's a trap in the beginning, in my opinion. Because if you spend it on that, you're not going to have a lot of DNA to increase the symptoms. And there are... if you increase severity, your disease gets harder to cure anyway. So might as well. We're going to be getting skin lesions, and then after a while, once the cure gets going, we're going to go for necrosis. But right now, we want these. Cold resistance and drug resistance. These two are very important. If you don't have those, Canada is practically immune, because they're both rich and cold, and rich countries are very hard to infect normally. And so are cold countries, so yeah. That one, and then that one. And you see, they haven't quite started working on the cure yet, so we don't have to worry right now. And yeah, now it's mutated a coughing symptom. I'm not going to devolve it because it helps the infectivity. Middle East starts working for cure. Oh, yeah. I don't care right now. The only symptoms I'm gonna devolve are probably going to be the lethal ones. Cold countries especially vulnerable. That I want. So I'm gonna do that. And I have saved up a fair bit, and the Philippines was just infected, which is good. That's one's... or I mean, not Philippines, Caribbean. That one's hard to infect. So right now the only tough country left is Greenland. So once that's infected, we've basically won. So yeah, we just gotta wait a bit. Yes. So what am I going to do now? Well, now I'm just going to go for necrosis. And it's basically over. We've pretty much won now. Sweden and Finland should not be difficult to infect. And once they're infected, I'm going to go for total organ failure. And we might as well spam some symptoms that make rich countries harder. And let's see, paralysis is good, and coma makes the cure really hard to research. And this one boosts infectivity, so yeah, we're just going for a bunch of things. Total organ failure costs 44. We're not gonna really have too much trouble with that. Global research focused on cure. Yeah, good luck with that. And now all countries are infected, so once I can afford total organ failure, I'm getting that. Total organ failure. There we go. Norway begins to break down. We might as well get these now, because we don't really have anything better to spend them on. They're going to die whatever they do. Genetic hardening, blah blah blah. Insomnia, yeah, that's useful. Actually, it's not. It's completely useless. 36, 35. Yeah. The most difficult part about bacteria is the race against the cure. Now everyone's infected, so yeah, we won. Let's just get this just in case. So yeah. Nuclear explosion in Finland, okay. And now we can see everyone here die. Cool. So yeah, that was bacteria, and that was actually the hardest one. Virus is probably not the easiest one, that would be Nurex worm, but virus is one of the easiest ones, and that's the one I'm doing next. So I'm going to make all of these the same day probably, so just wait a while. And yeah, if you do use the strategy on normal, you can get Insane Bolt, the achievement, very easily. So Insane Bolt, not a difficult achievement to get. I think you have to kill the planet in like 135 days or something like that. It's easier than it sounds. You just get bioaerosol and start spamming infectivity symptoms. So there we go. Bacteria on Mega Brutal, win. And I actually don't know how you improve your score. I have no idea. But I don't care. Anyway, try this out for yourself, try some different strategies, there are different ways to win. This is the one I like to use. And I'll see you when I do Virus.